Good day, I am Jana Smit. The simulated lesson that I will be presenting is for Life Orientation, Grade 7. According to the CAPS document for Life Orientation Senior Phase, page 14, the subject area is Health, Social and Environmental Responsibility, which is dealt with in the first 7 weeks of Term 3. The lesson topic is Substance Abuse, which is dealt with in the first 4 weeks. It is of vital importance to note that whilst this presentation is done in the partial fulfillment of the requirements for the Teaching Practice 1 module for Stadio's Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Life Orientation is not my subject specialisation. Some of the outcomes for this lesson is that learners should be able to define drugs as well as substance abuse. They should also, within their activity, be able to broadly differentiate between some of the socio-political and some of the socio-economical factors that can contribute to drug abuse. They should also be able to have a constructive conversation with a partner about drug abuse and the potential effects thereof. They should also be able to differentiate between some of the common myths and facts regarding substance abuse, while at the same time openly and freely expressing themselves and also being empathetic and understanding towards others' expressions. Good day, grade 7s. I trust you've all had a lovely holiday and that you're all excited to be back, that you're all thrilled to be back here at school. I'm glad to hear it. Alright, so for the purpose of me keeping my mask off, I have to keep social distance, so I'm going to stay right here behind my desk for today. Is that alright with everyone? Good. So, today we're going to be starting with a new topic. Today's topic is going to be, as I'm sure you've noticed, drugs and substance abuse. Scary topic, right? Alright, so to get started, who of you can tell me what you think drugs are? Drugs are things that get us high, yeah? Why is that? Because they mess with our brains, yeah. Okay, so drugs are chemicals or substances that are introduced into the bloodstream in various different ways that we will look at later. And they change and affect the way that our body functions. Okay? So, who wants to venture a guess as to what types of drugs we get? We get the drugs that the pharmacist sells us, yeah. So, those drugs are better known as medicinal drugs. Medicinal drugs. So these are the drugs that doctors prescribe us and that pharmacists sell us. Okay? Then what else do we get? We also get other types of drugs that we can buy in the streets or in shops. Okay? So these are better known as recreational drugs. Sometimes recreational drugs are as simple as things that we can buy in a normal shop that have a specific purpose, but then people use and abuse it for the wrong purposes. Okay? Then, while we have medicinal and recreational drugs, we also have natural versus synthetic drugs. Okay? So where would we find natural drugs? In nature, alright? So this can be herbal drugs. So usually they're plants, and then the leaves or the seeds of the plants are used. And this one we might not be so familiar with, synthetic drugs. What does the word synthetic mean? It is made by humans. Yeah. Okay, so it does not appear in nature as is. Humans have to go and fidget around with it a bit so that it can be something. Then, before we go into more detail about the various types of drugs, I want us to look at a a couple of words that might be important to know. Okay? So the first one we've already established is the word drug. Okay? So, chemical substance introduced into the bloodstream changes the way our body functions. Then, we also have the word addict. The word addict. Now, an addict is someone who is dependent on a specific substance, such as alcohol or tobacco or drugs. Okay? Next one we have is habit forming. Habit forming. So, habit forming means it is something that enables us to become addicted to a substance. Okay? Addictive. Habit forming. Then, we have overindulgence. So, overindulgence is when someone uses a substance or a drug to an excessive extent. So, more than what is necessary. Okay? Then we have rehabilitation. Rehabilitation. This is the process of readapting an addict into society, or to help them go back to a former, previous, healthier state of being or a way of living. Are we all good with those? Alright. Lovely. Okay, so before we go any further, I want to remind you that this is a sensitive topic. I know that, and I want you to know that as well. Now, we do get professionals who are qualified to do this and to deal with issues such as this. So if any of you have any serious issues with this, I want you to come to me so that we can make a plan to get help. Okay? Lovely. Alright, now, when we look at medicinal versus recreational drugs, we've already said that medicinal drugs are drugs that a doctor prescribes in order to help something get better. Yeah. Now, the problem with this is sometimes these medicinal drugs have chemicals or substances that can be habit-forming. Okay? That means that they can become addictive. That is why it is important to remember that some drugs we can only get by having a doctor prescribe them. Okay? Then, when we move on to recreational drugs, we get 3 different types of recreational drugs. The first one is then opiates or opioids. You will see this as well on the little information sheets that he has handed out. Okay, so that's the first one then. Opiates, which are used as feel-good drugs. Now, opiates, in a lot of cases, are actually used as a way to help treat pain. But the problem is that opiates mimic. Who remember what mimic means? To copy, okay? So opiates copy the feel-good hormones within our brains. Who can remember what we call those hormones? Endorphins, that's right. So, this feel-good hormone is being mimicked, so we have a heightened sense of euphoria. This heightened sense of euphoria, plus the chemical reaction that it has on our bodies, is what makes it so addictive and so dangerous. Okay? Some of the common examples, you'll see there on your paper as well, is heroin, morphine, and then also opium. Alright, the next one that we have is depressants. Depressants, which we also call downers. Alright, so what downers do is that they slow down the speed at which the brain sends messages. Okay? So this gives a person chill vibes. Okay? But that does not necessarily mean that they are good for you. Alright? And while they slow down the messages that the brain sends, they also give the user a better self-image, but only for a short amount of time. They boost your confidence, they make you feel good about yourself, but only for that short amount of time. And then every time, coming back from that gets worse. Yeah? And some of the common examples of these are marijuana, which is a herbal substance, so natural, as well as alcohol. Okay? And then the last of the three types that we get are stimulants, which we also call uppers. So, the opposite of depressants, which are downers. And they work in quite the opposite way as well. So where depressants slow down the speed, the uppers or the stimulants increase the speed at which the brain sends messages. So this can often give the user a heightened sense of awareness. So they feel hyperactive and they feel super aware of what goes on around them. Okay? There are some milder forms of this substance which is legally sold. Okay? Despite the fact that it's addictive and it can be bad for you, it is sold legally. Okay? So these are nicotine, so cigarettes and tobacco. And for those of you who think that vaping is just, ooh, this fun thing, vapes contain nicotine, okay, which is dangerous and addictive. Okay? So nicotine, one of them, and then caffeine is the other one. Okay? So these are the milder forms of stimulants. But then we also get the more extreme, more dangerous version of stimulants. And these also happen to be illegal. Some of these examples include cocaine and tick, which is also called crystal meth, as well as ecstasy. Okay? Now, as I have mentioned previously, there are various types of ways in which drugs can be taken. Okay? These include capsules, yes, okay, so which we can buy at the pharmacy. So with capsules also go pills, yeah, some of them legally sold, some of them illegally sold. Then we also get powders, yeah, like the picture that we see there of the heroin, yeah? Okay. Then we also get something called solvents. And I can promise you, you actually know what the word solvent means. So solvent basically just means a liquid. Okay, so it is a fluid. And then the last one that we get, we've already also discussed, is herbal. Okay, so that can be the plants, leaves, or seeds. Now, if you turn over that lovely little page with the information sheet, you will see that there is a worksheet. Now, I want you to pay close attention. Question 1 and question 2 you are to do individually, which means what? By ourselves, that is correct. Okay, so question 1 and 2, individually. Then, question 3, 4, and 5, you are going to be working in groups. Okay, very exciting, very exciting. Alright, so, row 1, you're a group. Row 2, group. 3, group. 4, group. 5, group. Good? Yeah, I know you wanted to be with friends. No. These are your groups. Okay? So quickly, question 1 and 2 individually, and after that we can split up. Alright, we may get started.